Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back another video today, and today the Houston Astros lose 6-3 to the Washington Nationals in their second spring training. I don't know if you call this their first or second spring training game, because this game started at 12:05 when their other game, their second game today, started at 12:10, and that second game started at 12:10 against the Mets. But the more interesting thing was the Mets game ended first. And this game against the Nationals ended last. So which do you call the first game? I guess you'd call the first game of spring training the game that started first and not the one that ended first. But this game did start first. This game started at 12:05 for the Astros against the Nationals. And they had their more experienced players play in this game. Now, we didn't see any of the big players. Game one spring training, no Jose Altuve, no Jordan, no Christian Walker or Isak making their Astros debuts. We didn't see Jeremy, and we didn't see Yainer Diaz. So you didn't see those guys, but you did see guys like Mauricio Dubon, Chas McCormick, John Singleton, Victor Caratini, Zach DeZenzo, Jake Myers. We saw Shea Whitcomb. We saw some interesting prospects play, that were placed, some of the players that started. And then in the other game, we saw Ben Gamel. We saw Cesar Salazar. We saw, who else did we see? We saw Bryce Matthews in the other game. So the other game didn't go so well for the Astros. This game was a lot better. The other game, the Astros lost 6-2 and had a total of 4 hits. This game, the Astros lose 6-3 with 2 hits. The Astros, the first run they scored in this game, when Luis Guillorme hit a sac fly. They didn't even have a hit in the third inning when they scored that first run. So there wasn't a lot of hits in this game. They did have 2 more hits in the other game than they did in this game, but still had 1 more run than they did in the other game. But the Astros do lose this one 6-3. The Astros were showing a little bit of hope in this game. They got down 3-1. They were down 3-1, and then they have a good 8th inning, score 2 runs, tie the game. But in the 9th inning, a 3 RBI double for the Nationals gives the Nationals the lead and the W. But 6-3 is the final score. 8 hits for the Nationals, 2 for the Astros. 0 errors in the ballgame. Win goes to Stewart. He's 1-0 on the year. He pitched 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. Loss goes to Joey Mancini, who pitched the 9th inning, giving up 1 hit, 3 earned runs, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. Not looking good for him in his first game in spring. Grissom Jr. gets the save, pitching the 9th, and had a clean inning with no strikeouts. Scoring summary: Cruz hits a RBI single to center in the 3rd inning. Young scored. It's 1-0. Then Guillorme hits a RBI sac fly to center to score Shea Whitcomb in the 3rd inning. It's 1-1. Then the 4th inning, Yepes with an RBI double to right. Chaparro scored, and someone else was called out at home, or thrown out at home. Then it's 2-1, and then Morales with the RBI single to center. Lipscomb. So the Astros have a Shea Whitcomb. They have a Lipscomb. And so Morales hits an RBI single to center, and it's 3-1. Then the Astros in the 8th inning, RBI ground out for Lavasita. I hope I said his name right. And here's the interesting thing. Cam Smith, who the big prospect the Astros received in the Kyle Tucker trade, made his debut today for the Astros in spring, and he scored on this RBI ground out, and he had a good day. Both at bats he walked in, and Barber got to 3rd, and then Stewart, who did get the win in this game, throws a wild pitch. Colin Barber scores on the wild pitch, and it's tied at 3. Then the 9th inning, Hassel the 3rd hits an RBI double to left. House scores, Milas scores, and Nunez scores, and it's 6-3. Let's go over the Astros batters in this game. Dubon was at leadoff today in his first game of spring. He was 0-2 with a ground out to shortstop and a strikeout. Cam Smith would come in and replace him, and he had 2 walks in the 6th and 8th inning, so it's great. So, look, this team did not have a lot of hits today, only 2 hits today in this game, but a lot of walks. Cam Smith had, Christian Gonzalez had 1 of them in the 7th inning. Cam Smith had 2 in the 6th and 8th inning. Then we go to Chas McCormick. He was 0-2 today with a couple groundouts at 3rd. Sullivan would replace him and go 0 for 2. John Singleton was 0 for 2 with a foul out to catcher and a ground out to second. Barber would replace him, and he went 1 for 1 with a 6th-inning walk to load the bases and a 8th-inning double. So that's the Astros' 4th walk. Victor Caratini today had 2 at-bats, struck out swinging the first at-bat. He was right-handed that at-bat, then switches in the 4th inning to a left-hander since he's a switch hitter, and he flies out to left. And Lavastada replaces him in the 6th inning. He struck out swinging, and then he hit the RBI ground out. And then Zach DeZenzo with with 2 at-bats going 0 for 2, and he flied out and grounded out the first. In his 2 at-bats, Luis Baez, prospect, gets a walk in the 7th inning. That was the Astros' 5th walk of the day, and he was 0 for 1. His next at-bat, he struck out swinging. Then Jake Myers is 0 for 2 today, struck out swinging and flied out to center his 2 at-bats. And Robleski was hit by pitch. He replaced Jake. He struck out swinging his other at-bat. Shea Whitcomb was 0 for 1 today. He walked. That's the Astros' 6th walk of the day, and he walked in the 3rd inning. Quincy Hamilton was the only player today for the Astros that played all day. He had 4 at-bats. He had a single to center in the 6th inning, so he went 1 for 4. And outside of that, got a couple groundouts to pitcher in 2nd, and then a groundout to 3rd. So 3 groundouts and a single for Quincy Hamilton. And then Luis Guillorme hit a sac fly and then a line out. And then he was replaced by Ferreras at shortstop, who had only 1 at-bat and struck out looking. So, like I said, a lot of walks, 6-7 walks the Astros had today. Pitching, here's one thing I want to go over is Ryan Gusto. I love seeing this guy pitch today. I think he has a good chance to potentially reach the level at some point at the major league level this year for the Astros. He did last year at the end of the season, game 162. He was supposed to start the last game of the season for the Astros against the Guardians, but that game got postponed, and we never got to see him make his first start. So I feel like it was only right for him to start the first Astros game of spring, and he goes the first 2 innings, does give up 1 walk, but no hits, no runs, and 3 strikeouts. Then we would see Castro pitch in the 3rd inning. He gave it 2 hits and an earned run. Then we see Walter pitch in the 4th inning, 2 hits, 1 earned run, giving up 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Nick Hernandez pitched in the 5th inning. He gave it 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout. Luis Contreras pitches in the 6th inning. He looked pretty good in his inning. Didn't have any strikeouts, but didn't give up anything. No hits, no runs, no walks. 1, 2, 3 inning, and then that was really it. So Astros lose 6-3. We see some players that will be on this Astros roster opening day, like Dubon. You got guys like Dubon and Chas and Singleton and Caratini and DeZenzo and so there were Jake Myers. So there were players that played today for the Astros. Some guys that will be starting on opening day, but not the main players. You still got the 6 guys that have not played yet. And you got Altuve, you got Alvarez, who have not played yet, and I think it's going to be a minute until they play. Pena hasn't played yet. Yainer Diaz, the 2 guys that need to make their debuts, Walker and Paredes. If I had to make a prediction, I don't think we see Altuve or Alvarez tomorrow. I don't think we see Christian Walker tomorrow. I think he's supposed to start on Tuesday. I think we see Yainer Diaz tomorrow. I think we see Isaac Paredes make his Astros debut tomorrow, and maybe we see Jeremy Pena. I don't think we see Alvarez and Altuve yet, because it was said by Joe Espada that young players are going to be starting tomorrow. So Isaac, Pena, and Diaz they are in that category. So I think we could see all 3 of those guys, maybe two out of 3 of those guys tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts on the Astros 6-3 loss in the comment section, and peace out. Go Astros.